What's up guys, Josh here. Today I want to talk about a topic that will really make your jaw drop. And I mean really make your jaw drop. Because this isn't a topic you hear about every day. At least not successfully happening like it did in this case. Now before we go any further, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. Now today I want to discuss a flooding that took place in South Florida that happened to involve a C8 Corvette that did a relatively silly stunt successfully and surprisingly without a visual scratch. This was filmed by Luis Leva, aka Superstrong26 on Instagram. Now these would be the kind of floods that would make roads completely undrivable. These would be the kind of roads that you would see a super raised monster truck try to drive down. Something like that. Not obviously for the C8 Corvette. You would think, but I guess not. So as the story goes, someone saw a Corvette plowing through its way through a flooded street that looks like a street in Miami, which is where it 99% likely took place. When they saw the car going down the flooded road. So they started recording it, as you can see here. The driver hits a trash can, then the car comes out as if it just went into the pool, as if nothing ever happened. The car just went for a swim, basically. It's like a semi-submarine car, you never see these. No one yet knows why the driver decided to drive down that road when they could have and should have just avoided it altogether. But what would possess someone to drive, especially in a car with very low clearance? I mean, it's never recommended to just drive a car through flooded water. I mean, number one, it's very stupid. I guess if you drive it through a semi little puddle, it's okay, but never drive it through a giganta-sized puddle that you don't know the depth of, because your car could end up sinking and you could end up stalling the engine and having to file an insurance claim, and it's going to be your fault, and they're going to ask, it's going to be you on the phone. I could only imagine that phone call being hi, I decided to drive through a puddle in a Corvette, so can you help me out? I guess, I don't know. I'm asking you. You guys can imagine, that ain't gonna go over too well. So, avoiding that road altogether ultimately would have been the smartest thing anyone in their right mind could do. Now you can see in another video from another angle, it looks like the car is just pushing away the water, though it's getting through with some difficulty because of the revs coming from the engine, meaning the driver's having to step on the gas a little bit because, the driver's trying not to get stuck, otherwise the driver's gonna stall, and, shame on him or her if he or she stalls. Would make the video wah-wah if that happened. For the driver, make it more wah-wah. And it also looks like the car is moving at a good speed considering how high the water is and how low the clearance is. You would think that the car would just ultimately just stop, but it didn't, surprisingly enough. I think Corvettes can just fly. Not only can they go 200, meaning 200 miles an hour, but they can fly on water. I'd like to see somebody maybe mod a Corvette to I think maybe somebody did that. Let's see. For all of you who are wondering about that clip that I just showed, you can actually drive cars on water in Egypt. Depending on what kind you get, they can cost between $19,000 and $44,800. So not too bad considering the fact that you can drive them on water, and it's pretty much like a jet ski that can hold two people. So that's really cool. I mean, who would think that you could ever do something like that? Now, believe it or not, the whole nose of the car was underwater the entire time of the incident. So the whole time the car was just pushing all the water it possibly could from one end to the other. The the whole front end of the car was just submerged underwater. That is just insane to think about. It's just like, what? I know. Now, if the engine were in the front, like, the car would have stalled, no doubt about it. Like, that car wouldn't have made it from one end to the other. It would have been, like, dead near the middle, if that. So, even another mid-engine, like, it's... maybe another mid-engine would have made it a little further, but, you know, it still likely wouldn't have made it very far, because now I'm starting to think that, like, this CA Corvette made it from one end to the other without too much damage is because the engine was so sealed. I mean, that's my only guess. I mean, the water was just, because you can see in the video that, like, all the water was in the front, not the back. Like, there was hardly any water at the rear of the car. So, hardly any water could get to the engine, so the car really had no chance of stalling. You would think that, like, that car wouldn't have made it. You think that, like, the Corvette would have been done. But I guess not. Like, had the water been higher than the car, I could tell you right now, psst, done. It wouldn't have made it. Like, water at some points was up to the windshield. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, the wipers were on the entire time. Meanwhile, the rear wheels keep going through the water like it's no big deal. Probably because, like I was saying earlier, most of the water was toward the front, not really toward the back. So the wheels had a lot of room to work. Corvettes are rear-wheel drives, so that gave the wheels a lot of advantage. And that's what rear-wheel drives are meant to do, you know, they're meant to push the rear wheels. So this is something that no one should ever attempt, even though this one person successfully attempted it. The question remains, like, what ultimately possessed this person to drive through a huge flooded road? Was this person trying to get social media views, or trying to get some kind of other attention? Because whatever the case was, they did a really good job. Even though it may be tempting with this out there, just don't do it. Because if you have to make an insurance claim and, you know, they find out you lied, or, you know, even if you tell the truth, which is, you know, always better to tell the truth, especially with car insurance, because if you don't, you're going to go to jail for insurance fraud. You're done. So, and especially if you make a video and post on any social media platform, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. They find it, it is what it is. You know what happens from there. Well, that's all I have to say. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this whole incident. Thought it was stupid, you know, thought it was funny, you know, anything. I mean, if it was a Florida man, like, I am not going to be surprised. To be honest, like, any guy who does something stupid in Florida, like, I am not surprised, because it's just a horrible reputation. You had the guy that crashed the Ford GT, like, last month or so. Said, you know, he didn't know how to drive the manual transmission, or something like that. So, you know, I hope this is not like one of those Florida man type things, but I guess if it is, it's kind of something to laugh at, I guess. At least not, like, too much damage was done to the car, if anything. And if there was, you know, probably some, like, semi-minor fixes. I say semi because parts can be expensive with the Corvette, depending on how you look at it. Probably internal, you know, like pipes and stuff. Not too sure because I've never driven a Corvette yet, but one of these days I will. Well, anyway, with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.